Welcome back. I'm Erin. Oh, welcome back. Good morning. Yeah, and welcome back from this great weekend. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. So excited to have you with us on this Monday morning and hope you enjoyed the weekend.
Yes, it was an awesome weekend.
It was an awesome weekend. Tobin and I had a date night on Saturday.
We did.
We went to Uka in Riverside. Okay, so if y'all haven't been to the Riverside Plaza in a while, they've really done a great job, like sprucing it up. It's got that kind of Victoria Gardens on a much smaller scale feel. Yes. But there's lots of great restaurants there, and one of them was Uka, which is a Japanese restaurant.
Yeah. And earlier on Saturday, we went to a big party for a friend of ours who turned
the big 5-0.
Big 5-0.
Happy birthday to Jaime Velches.
Right.
His birthday was actually yesterday. And then you went out again yesterday with him.
I did. Well, he and I are really close friends, and so you just got to keep partying. You got to keep celebrating. And originally, he and I had talked about having a joint party because his birthday was this weekend, mine is the following week. So, having our birthdays about a week apart, we usually, we've talked about doing stuff together, so... Yeah. Well,
that's good. So we actually went to the gym. Now, I was a member of a I'm not going to say their name. It was a women-only gym.
Yes.
And I had a really bad experience there. And so the owners of the gym were just really, really, really rude to me. And so I haven't been back in a while, right? That's a lame excuse. Everybody who works out all the time goes, okay, fine. Why didn't you just go? I just didn't go because I didn't want to be there. And so we went to 24-Hour Fitness this weekend.
The one on Harriman in San Bernardino. And they were great.
They were great. It was really nice. It was terrific. And so I'm going to, haul my fat carcass over there again today.
Just to tell how long it had been since either of us had been to that gym, we've had a 24-Hour Fitness membership for a long time. And the last time we went, they were still at their old location over on Waterman. And,
yeah.
But we went together, and it's such a nice facility. And I'm starting my training for a triathlon, so I need to be able to run, bicycle, and swim. And they've got all of those items there.
They do.
They have a really nice lap pool, 3 lanes, 25-meter pool, and
meter or yard?
I'm not sure.
I'm sure it's yard.
Yeah, but it's great. I'm just loving it, and my wife went with me.
It was fun. It was fun. I tell you, working out together is fun. So
it is. It is.
I got to tell this crazy story. I know there's a lot of hard-hitting stories that are out there for today, but I have to tell this crazy story about
Start with the crazy one.
This woman came in, started walking into her living room, and she saw something surprising in there.
Yeah, she saw something behind the couch, right?
Yes. It was a mountain lion.
And not a tiny mountain lion. This was like a full-grown, probably, 150-something pounds, maybe 200. I don't know. It's big. It's a big cat.
Big kitty cat in her living room. And, it's kind of crazy. So an Oregon woman is safe after finding a dangerous mountain lion dozing on her couch. It started out on behind the couch and then eventually snoodled up in the couch. Got to check that for ticks and fleas now.
Right.
And she says that she was able to help the cat negotiate its way out of the house telepathically.
Yes.
Now, okay.
Yes.
I know you're being sarcastic and a little demeaning.
She sent the good mental vibes.
Well, I actually believe this is partly how animals communicate with one another.
Yes.
I think they're highly empathic. And I think that they pick up on communication that's nonverbal. I really do. And I don't just mean body language. I mean, I really believe that. As a highly empathic person myself, I know that that sixth sense exists.
Well, this woman live tweeted the whole experience. So the cat was in her house for like 6 hours. So she's got a ton of pictures and video and describing the situation as it happened. It's really bizarre.
And I tell you, pumas have the cutest faces. They really do. I mean, I know they're big cats and they're dangerous and they're apex predators, yada, 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 but I think they're cute.
So it was snoodled up and asleep, and she says she made a noise and it woke up, and she says, I gazed lovingly, then blinked hard, and then she did it back, and then she went back to sleep.
So this is one thing that cats do. If you tell your cat to tell your cat you love them, you blink very slowly, and then then open your, very slowly. And that's how they communicate.
Yeah.
That's one of the ways they say I love you. So time crawled by with the dangerous animal still dozing in her home. As dawn approached, Taylor said she knew the mountain lion needed to leave.
Right.
She said she sent telepathic pictures of the routes out of the house via open doors and the route out the backyard across the creek through an open field and back up into the hills. We got guidance that the way to rouse her and get her to leave her safe spot behind the sofa without panicking was through drumming. In a video Taylor shared, she does exactly that. As drumming can be heard in the background, the mountain lion cautiously makes its way out of the home. It was a perfect ending to a blessed encounter that could have been dangerous if approached from a lower frequency, she wrote. Yeah. So, and in another apparent reference to vibrations, she chose to admit in the presence of the animal. Thank you for seeing and honoring the spirit of the encounter and this beautiful and powerful animal. While there are those who may doubt Taylor's version of events, her photos and videos seem to speak for themselves. Yeah. And as of this writing, her Facebook album of the encounter had been shared 14,000 times.
Yeah, I went and watched looked at some of the pictures and watched the video online. I had to have it on mute though, so I didn't hear the drumming. So you got to answer this for me, Aaron. Was it more like hard rock and roll drumming, like
No.
Or what kind of drumming was it?
It was just drumming. I don't know. It wasn't like you're not gonna. It wasn't Neil Peart in Rush banging on the drums hitting that hi hat.
Right.
No. The cat. The cat is beautiful. I mean, so yeah. you gotta. We'll post this on our KCAA Morning Show Facebook page, and you can see this cat is beautiful. Pumas are beautiful.
For those of you who don't know my wife, she is a crazy cat woman. I fully suspect that in our old age, there'll be me and her and about 1 million cats.
That is so not true.
And,
it is true that the second that I sit down anywhere in the house, I've got a cat, at least one on me.
Yes. She's going to be like that old lady in The Simpsons just pulling cats out of her hair and chucking them at people.
Really, Tobin?
It's funny.
No, it's not. It's demeaning. Now stop it.
I'm not demeaning you. You love cats. I'm being honest. That's why we picked this story in part, because you love cats.
I do love cats.
I'm a cat person, too.
I'm a doggy person, too. I like doggies. But I like cats more.
Yeah.
So with that, let's take a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we'll be right back. Speaking of drumming, we'll be right back.
If you're looking for a full or part-time sales position and you have radio, TV, or print media experience, KCAA has a great opportunity waiting for you that pays the highest commissions in the market. KCAA is the only station in the IE that broadcasts on 3 frequencies, so advertisers receive 3 ads for 1 low rate. This makes KCAA a must-buy for every local business. If you're interested in a sales position with us, email ceo@kcaaradio.com. The Tri-City Shopping Center in Redlands is serving up some really cool ice cream at La Micho Acana. Then get your chocolates and other delights from C's Candies. Moms and future moms who visit the mall can cool off and relax while they get treated like royalty at Shiny Nails or Francis Nails and then pampered at Texture Hair. The Tri-City Center is filled with retailers who care about you. Shop at the Tri-City Center in Redlands and see why they call it the mall with a heart. For several years, KCAA has been marketing the Youngevity brand of nutritional and personal care products. Our experience with Youngevity has been 100% positive, so we are pleased to recommend them to you. Regarding nutritional supplements, we recommend Pollen Burst in the berry flavor and Tangy Tangerine 2.0 in the tablet form. For regularity issues, we recommend 3-Day Cleanse, and for personal care, we recommend Morning Hydration Cream. You can shop online for Youngevity at www.kcaateam.com, or you can order by phone by calling 800-982-3197 and tell customer support that you are part of the KCAA team. Youngevity is an American company based in San Diego. Call Youngevity at 800-982-3197 and ask about monthly auto ship that allows you to buy Youngevity products at wholesale prices. That number again, 800-982-3197.
Look around your office. Is it time to change things up? Start a new home office or reorganize your professional office space? Visit Office Furniture Outlet in Corona and you'll feel great. With a huge inventory of both new and pre-owned office furniture, you can buy, sell, or even trade to get the job done. Office Furniture Outlet in Corona will get you looking and feeling good, and that simply means success and great business results. From executive office collections to home office options, you can find exactly what you need at an affordable price. Office Furniture Outlet. They have desk selections that range from modern and contemporary to traditional and elegant. With a large selection of sizes, finishes, and styles, you can design an office just the way you need it. An office you can be proud of. The Office Furniture Outlet in Corona is just south of the 91 freeway in McKinley at 284 DuPont Street, or visit ofousa.com. That's ofousa.com for the Office Furniture Outlet in Corona today.
We can't be everything to everyone, or can we? The station that leaves no listener behind, KCAA.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. So, somebody posted this weekend something about WKRP in Cincinnati, like it being a really good show.
Yes.
And I thought, gosh, I haven't watched that show in decades.
It's totally based on our radio show, our radio station.
Our radio station.
Yeah.
So, so I found it on Hulu. And we started watching. Oh my gosh! I don't usually laugh at sitcoms, but I was laughing my head off. It's just a funny, well-written, beautifully acted show.
Yes,
and they don't bludgeon you over the head with the funny lines, meaning they're delivered deadpan, or they're delivered ironically, or they're just phenomenal, and all of the actors are phenomenal.
Yes.
I think about so many sitcoms of the last 10, 15 years that have just been. It's the canned laughter. Okay, you're supposed to laugh now, and it's poor writing, and the characters, and even The Big Bang Theory, which we used to watch all the time. The characters have become caricatures of their original selves.
Yes, and a lot of times these shows, modern shows, seem to have lots of sort of political messaging.
Oh yeah,
or they're neutered in ways that don't seem real. That normal people sort of say dumb stuff sometimes, and you get that on WKRP. You get people sort of saying ridiculous things and rude things and being offended in a real way, or not really getting it, like, oh, that went over my head, and those things happen. But they do it in a way that does that today, as you said, that it'd probably be considered homophobic and racist and and whatever. But these were sort of expressing sort of real values of people. But doing it in a way that sort of makes fun of those values without being preachy.
Preachy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and even, so Lonnie Anderson plays the receptionist, and she's a bombshell. She's Lonnie Anderson.
Yeah.
And so there's all of this tension, because it's all men except for her. Well, and Bailey.
Yeah.
But Bailey is very mousy in the beginning.
Yes.
And so, there's all of this sexual harassment of her that goes on, and it is, but she handles herself beautifully and often puts people in their place, while blinking her eye, batting her eyes. And so, it's an
interesting, different view of female empowerment.
It really is.
She doesn't need to be masculine to be strong. She can still be feminine and use humor and use her wit as a way to deflect and put these men back on their heels when they cross the line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just great television.
It is.
And I know that, we have friends who, somebody posted something about MASH. And so I'm like, oh, that's on Hulu too. And so she's been binge watching. She loved the show when it was on before, and been talking about how wonderful it is. And again, that dealt with real topics, but, maybe it got more preachy towards the end, but in the beginning it wasn't it wasn't bludgeoning you over the head.
Yeah.
And I think you think about, shows that have, they try. Roseanne was a funny show, but again, the messages, it just bludgeoned you with this social justice stuff, and there's a way of addressing it that, like you said, is real.
So here's the thing. When we grew up, they used to have these what they called after-school specials, and they were designed to have positive messages for kids, right? So it really wasn't as much about the story as it was about there was always going to be sort of a lesson at the end. It was like the Aesop's fable of television, you know?
Right.
And unfortunately, that kind of programming has seeped into everything, so that every show has they pick these topical sort of issues and they have to address the issue, and instead of just being entertaining for the sake of being entertaining, they instead have all become sort of a vehicle for, teaching us something. And I'm like, I'm done with that.
Well, I think the people who make those shows would say that it's their duty, that they have a duty to educate the masses about whatever, and that if they didn't do that, they'd be remiss, that they'd be slacking because they're not impacting culture the way they need to.
Yeah, but I think you can make commentary on social issues without that being the primary purpose of the show, and that's where I think we've crossed the line.
Well, speaking about lines to cross, an Uber driver has gotten himself in trouble for live streaming videos of his passengers without their consent.
Yeah.
Now, I understand an Uber driver wanting to have a camera in the car. I do understand that. But he needs to have told them, and I don't understand the live stream.
So this guy apparently saw someone else who had done this, but the guy who did it, he was always getting permission, whatever. So this guy decided that this is what he wanted to do. So he went out and bought like $3,000 worth of all this video equipment and make sure that his car was completely set up. He put in special kind of lighting in the car so that the people would be lit. And when he first started doing it as a driver, oh, and by the way, he then went and got the job as a driver, right? So he had this all pre-planned, and when he became a driver, he first would ask people for their permission, but he didn't like what was filmed after he asked for permission because it didn't seem natural. It seemed fake, And so he then stopped asking people. And he actually got this channel going, and people would tune in to watch all these people get into his Lyft or his Uber or whatever. And he didn't tell them that they were being filmed. And when people found out afterwards that they had been filmed, they were embarrassed. They were angry.
Wouldn't you be?
Yeah, because people would say things that they didn't necessarily want for public consumption, or they might be drunk.
Well, think about, especially at night.
Yeah.
Think about when you call an Uber, and you call an Uber when you don't want to drive. And why don't you want to drive? Well, probably because you're planning on being intoxicated, or you already are intoxicated. Right.
Yeah.
That's the responsible thing to do.
No.
And you certainly don't want that to be live streamed on some rando's Facebook page.
Yes. Now, apparently, he's in Missouri, and apparently in Missouri it's legal as long as one party says it's okay, and of course he says it's okay to videotape. So these people probably don't have any legal recourse for him filming them without them knowing to sue him or anything like that. He, at first, Lyft and Uber both kind of gave benign statements of, well, whatever, and then they realized, oh, this is a bigger deal. And he's no longer driving for either service. And then I think he was probably contacted by some lawyers, and he made some comments, and it looks like he has now taken down all of the videos and made a comment about he's destroyed them for now. And of course, destroyed you'd think means they're gone forever.
No, they're not.
But he says for now he's got them on a thumb drive somewhere locked up.
So if he could blur out their faces,
yeah.
Is that enough? I mean, is he looking to make a show out of this?
Yeah, I think he was looking
to
for
monetize his channel.
Yeah, I think so. He had 4,500 followers that were watching his stuff, right?
People are voyeuristic.
They are. Well, I mean, we have friends. I'll just not be honest. I've done it. I love to people watch, but you go to the mall just to sit and watch other people walk around,
Yeah. I don't know. It's never been my thing.
Yeah.
It's never been my thing. I suppose if I were in a city that I was completely unfamiliar with, it might be fun just to see what the locals do.
Yeah.
But watching just for the sake of watching, I don't know.
When I was an exchange student in Australia as a teenager, I would go down to the areas where there were touristy people, right? And I would sit on a bench and watch, and I would try to identify where I thought they were from, based on the clothing that they wore, how they were behaving.
It was really easy to pick out Americans.
You could always pick out the Americans. They were loud. They were kind of obnoxious.
And the clothes are different from anywhere else in the world.
Yes. Black socks with sandals. Like, okay, American. Yeah.
Who the heck else would do that?
I'm like, what a dummy. Yeah. So anyway, it was fun. I used to have fun. I enjoy watching people, I'll be honest, you know.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I'll do it because we've done it together, but
Yeah.
it's not, I get bored after about 5 minutes.
You know where my interest, I guess, started, though? I used to work in the mall, right? I was at Stride Right Shoes, and we would often have periods where we didn't have customers, right? We'd go for a little while without customers, and we'd just sort of be standing around for a little bit, and you'd watch the people walk by, right? And so me and a couple of my coworkers, we chit-chat about the various people that were walking by, and that's sort of where I developed
You
this
were
sort of...
ripping on them, weren't you?
A little
Making
bit.
fun of their clothes.
A little bit.
Making fun of their hairdos.
A little bit, doing the thing that guys do when girls walk by. Is that one pretty? Is that one not? Would you go out with her? That kind of stuff.
So you're doing the hot or not thing?
Yes, guys do
While
that
you're
stuff.
working at a children's shoe store?
Nobody was in the store except for me and my buddies. But I mean, this is the kind of stuff guys do. Young guys. Young guys.
Well, let's go ahead and take a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA. We'll be right back.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, K292FQ Riverside, and K293CF Moreno Valley.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Carter. President Trump is again calling the Russia investigation a hoax. On Twitter, he questioned why his campaign wasn't told about possible Russian interference in the election before voters cast their ballots. New York Times reporter Nicholas Confessori tells MSNBC that isn't quite true.
So President Trump actually was warned. As soon as he became the nominee, he was warned about potential Russian efforts to penetrate his campaign. He appears to have ignored those warnings.
Trump blamed former President Obama for not notifying his camp because he thought Hillary Clinton was going to win. Last week, the president said he believed the U.S. intelligence community's conclusion that Russia was behind interference in the 2016 election. Meanwhile, in a tweet, Trump is telling Iranian President Rouhani not to threaten the U.S. or you will suffer consequences the likes of which few throughout history have ever suffered before. Lisa Carter, NBC News Radio.
It's time for traffic on KCAA. I'm Erin Brinker. In Murrieta on the 15 southbound, before Murrieta Hot Springs Road, an accident has a center lane blocked. There's stop-and-go traffic backed up from California Oaks Road. In Moreno Valley on the 60 eastbound, before the 215, a wreck is now along the right shoulder, just before the interchange. And finally in Fontana on the 15 northbound at the 210, a stalled car is in the center divider. This has been your traffic report on KCAA. We are the stations that leave no listener behind.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Alvin Washington. Excessive heat warning in effect for Greater San Bernardino. Today's high will hit 105 with sunshine. Clear, very warm, 74 tonight. I'm Alvin Washington, live from the Tri-City Center at the 10 and 210 freeways. We are the trifecta of talk in Southern California, KCAA. 102.3 FM Riverside, 106.5 FM Redlands, and The Legacy, 1050 AM, Loma Linda, San Bernardino.
It's time to shop in the cool, relaxed comfort of the Tri-City Shopping Center in Redlands, conveniently located on the I-10 freeway between the Alabama and Tennessee exits. Bring the kids too and watch them play in the only indoor fun center, High Five Indoor Playground, where parents are welcomed on the playground. Birthday celebrations are encouraged, so make plans for some great fun at the mall. More reasons why the Tri-City Center is called the Mall with a Heart.
Are you or a loved one suffering from an addiction? If so, help is available. Many people are getting help from a recovery center called Sheer Recovery. You can call Sheer Recovery now at 888-SHEER-51. That's 888-743-3751. If you have insurance, your treatment may be covered at little to no cost. Most importantly, you can't lose your job because you decide to get help. Sheer Recovery is staffed with professionals who understand addictions and how to treat addictions. They understand what an addicted person goes through every day. So if you or a loved one are suffering from an addiction, it's time to call Sheer Recovery at 888-SHEER-51. That's 888-743-3751. A better life begins with Sheer Recovery. Call 888-743-3751 or go online at www.sheerrecovery.com.
Drivers, when it's time to visit the DMV, avoid the long lines and save time by calling toll-free 833-DMV-LINE. That's 833-DMV-5463.
So, you didn't like that opinion, okay? Give us another 15 minutes. This is the station that leaves no listener behind, KCAA.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And this is all about the 80s pop rock.
You had some 80s songs in your head yesterday.
I did. I did.
You were turning Japanese for a while. I remember that song. Because you made udon noodles for lunch.
That's right. Then I was listening to the English beat because I love me some ska sounds.
Yes, and then you were reminiscing. One of your very best friends also had a birthday yesterday.
That's true.
And
give a shout out to Kimmery Burnett Graham.
Yeah.
She actually hasn't hyphenated her last name, but she lives in Missouri, so people out here would know her by her maiden name, Burnett, and instead of Graham, which is her married name. Of course, she's been married for 2 decades, so.
Yeah. But so you were reminiscing. So you were like posting pictures of the two of you with your 80s hairstyles.
Oh, actually, I did not have an 80s hairstyle. Yeah. I went through periods where I permed, but I didn't have the Cyclone Sisters hair. My hair wasn't big, and in that particular picture, I had an A-line bob.
Yeah, very classic, Erin. Very classic.
So it was very, I had this kind of. I like mod ska. I drove a Vespa,
She was too cool for the rest of us people.
I was not.
She really was.
No, I just liked the sleeker hair. The times when I permed my hair is when I was so busy. I just couldn't. I didn't have time to fuss with my hair. So when I was in swimming, I would often perm my hair so that I did morning workout. I could shake out my hair and then go to class in the morning.
So newsflash, I had totally 80s hair on several occasions. I once did the flock of seagulls thing where I let the hair in the front grow really, really long, like it was dangling down to my chin, right? And I had it on one side, like just all the way down to my chin, right? I did all kinds of crazy stuff. And then we had a thing at school where we did the powder puff cheerleaders. I don't know if your school did that, where the guys, the girls play flag football and the boys dress up as cheerleaders, right?
Yes.
So I did that, and I had a younger sister who I swear to God made me look like her identical twin. She gave me the feathered hair, just like hers, and did the makeup, and we already kind of look alike facial structure-wise. And I came to school, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, you look just like your sister, but hotter." I'm like, "Oh, dude,
you're all
just back
shut
off.
up.
Just back off." So, yeah.
We have to talk about some more serious. Serious topics. There were a couple of tragedies that happened late last week and during over the weekend. One of them was this duck boat that capsized. And Tobin, you want to talk about that?
So first off, if you're not familiar with a duck boat, this is a boat that also can drive on land, right? And they're often used for tours that go on the road and then on the water, right? And so I've actually seen them in the Washington, D.C. area where you kind of drive around in D.C. looking at some of the buildings, and then the boat goes into the Potomac River and then takes you and sees some sights from the river. So they have these duck boats, and apparently there was a massive storm coming up, and this family got on the boat, and the people who run the boats were still like, yeah, we can go. It's going to be okay.
This is near Branson, Missouri.
Yeah, and some people voluntarily said, you know what, just give me a refund. I'm not getting on that boat. The weather's looking too rough out there. But they get on the boat, and they get out on the water, and the captain never says to the people to put on the life jackets or anything like that. And the winds are I think at like 60 miles an hour.
Oh, my gosh.
And the boat capsizes, right? And it begins to take on water. And, I mean, this is a very sort of violent situation.
So duck boats are pretty flat on the bottom. I'm sorry,
I
totally cut you off. I apologize.
Yeah, because it's designed to drive on the road, it doesn't have the long, I forget what they call the piece on the bottom that sort of stabilizes the boat. But yeah, you're right. It's easier to capsize, I think. And so the boat went over. And this whole family was basically wiped out. 2 people survived out of I think it was 9 members of the family. A total of 11 Colemans took up most of the space in the boat. So there was 11 family members, and only 2 of them survived. And the descriptions that they give are just brutal. The water was splashing. It was hot. We thought that this was great, but then a big wave came in, and they got nervous. And then in the next big swell, the boat flipped. And the wind started to howl at 73 miles per hour, nearly hurricane force. The waves crested 6 feet, Aaron.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So that long piece of wood or metal that's along the bottom of a boat that helps it to balance in the water is a keel.
The keel, thank you. I couldn't remember the word, but the keel. They have no keel on those boats, or if they do, it's a really small one because of the tires and being able to drive on land. And so, it makes it easier for one of these boats to capsize. And I'm certain there's going to be some major lawsuits over this, particularly because nobody was wearing their life vests.
Well, apparently they were told by the captain they wouldn't need it.
Yeah.
So everybody, especially in that weather, everybody should have put those life vests on.
Yeah.
Honestly, they shouldn't have gone out. I think the people who had the common sense to say, no, we're having some weather, we're not going to go out there, they were the right ones. The captain should not have taken a bunch of people who probably weren't very comfortable or familiar with being on the water. Shouldn't have taken them out.
Now, there were other boats from that same company that were on the water, and one of them was close enough by that after the accident happened was able to effect an attempt at a rescue. But because of the high winds and the waves, they were only able to pull a few of the people out of the water. And as they pulled them out, many of these people were unconscious, and so they had to do life-saving measures to try to save them. I mean, this was brutal. This was brutal, and so there are some pictures of the boat and as it's sort of going down, and yeah.
So I feel Tia Coleman survived and her babies did not, and I would say that she didn't survive. And I say this: her heart is still beating, she's still breathing, and she's she's walking around. But if her babies died,
she'll never be the same person.
She'll never be the same person.
Her life will never be the same. Anybody who's ever experienced a tragedy where you've lost someone suddenly. Now multiply that times, 9, because all these family members have passed away. Their lives are just, yeah. Their life isn't over because obviously they're still alive for those who survived, but it is not the same life at all. It's a half life. Yeah.
So I think that you'll probably see from this tragedy that the state of Missouri will take some more, regulate these kinds of boats maybe a little bit more about, how fast can the wind be blowing? What is kind of forecast has to be, where are the lines? Because this captain clearly should not have been out on the water with those people.
Well, and they're going to be looking at to see what kind of standards and procedures did they have before this, and were they being followed, right? If they were supposed to have their life vests on but didn't, if they had, certain warnings of when they should or shouldn't go out already. And what if they already had those standards and they just sort of dismissed them because they said, well, I'm here and I'm working and I need to get paid, so let's just go.
One of the things in our litigious society where we're protected from everything, and the people, the people who are responsible are always, the boat captain in this case, I think he was, but also people need to learn to look out for warning signs for themselves.
Yeah.
It's the people who clearly could problem solve said it's going to be windy, and that's a flat bottom boat.
Yeah.
Or slightly curved bottom boat.
Yeah.
And so, the chances of it capsizing are pretty high.
There was another couple that was interviewed that said they did not get on the boat. They did not feel safe, and they made the decision,
And so we are ultimately responsible for the decisions that we make. And these poor families that are in this position of having lost family members, I ache for them.
Yeah.
But what warning signs did they look out for?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This isn't a ride at Disneyland. This is a boat on the water, and people can drown.
Yeah.
So I'm not blaming the victim. I'm saying that our culture has reached a point through the fact that people are being sued all over the place that we no longer think for ourselves. And, you know, if you think something's dangerous, why don't you stay away from it? Or if you haven't even thought of, somebody else will handle that. No, it doesn't matter if somebody else handles it, because they could be wrong, and then who's the one who's hurting because of it? You are.
Yeah, it's a horrible tragedy.
So I'm blaming our culture, not this victim's family.
Yeah.
So let's take another break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we'll be right back. We are On the Brink, the morning show on KCAA.
Are you having trouble sleeping? Are you always tired and worn out? Is it affecting your work and personal life? Well, South Pacific Sleep Lab can help you out. South Pacific Sleep Lab provides a personal study of your sleep patterns. With their trained specialists, they will diagnose your sleep habits and will give you a prognosis for getting a great relaxing night of sleep. South Pacific Sleep Lab has locations throughout Southern California, including Fontana, and will provide transportation to any of their locations at no cost to you. To find out more, give them a call at 844-SAD-5050. That's 844-SAD-5050. South Pacific Sleep Lab. Start resting easy and sleeping sound today.
If you're suffering from aches and pains, it's time to try Arbo Vitae Health and Wellness Dietary Supplement. Arbo Vitae contains pycnogenol, the most powerful, natural anti-inflammatory and antioxidant available, which is nature's way to support the immune system. Let Arbo Vitae help your body restore itself today. To order Arbo Vitae online, go to ARBORVITAEUS.com. To order by phone, call 800-570-0433. That number again, 800-570-0433. Arbo Vitae is proud to sponsor Fish Talk Radio. Check out the show on Facebook or visit the Fish Talk website at fishtalkradio.com. The first caller will receive a 30-day supply of Arbo Vitae with no obligation, so call now, 800-570-0433.
Whether you swing a hickory shaft Massey Niblick or the latest titanium hybrid, golf is your game, and the Boy Scouts need you. To be specific, the California Inland Empire Council of the Boy Scouts of America need your help in joining them for their 10th annual Golf Classic at Los Sureños Golf Club in Chino Hills on Friday, August 10th. A continental breakfast and a lunch are included, and we tee off at 7:45 a.m. Proceeds will help to offer young people responsible fun and adventure.
This is Dick from Carpet Masters. Carpet Masters has been serving the Inland Empire for over 55 years. Carpet Masters uses extraction cleaning for your carpet because there's no better cleaning to remove the soil from your carpet. All of our furniture cleaning is done by hand in your home or in our plant. Carpet Masters also offers dry cleaning for fine furniture. Call Carpet Masters at 793-7215. That's 793-7215 for Carpet Masters.
We consider ourselves a guilty pleasure. The Mitch and Kathy Show. Every Tuesday, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Or 3 to 5 p.m. Pack time on 1050 a.m., 106.5 FM, or KCAAradio.com.
KCAA.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And I love this song. It's a little 38 special, holding on loosely.
Nice.
I know we're a talk show, but I love music, so it's always fun to play a little music in the morning.
So I know we have other stories to talk about. I have to give a quick shout out to my runner friends. I know a couple people that started late last night running the Badwater 135. This is an ultra marathon race that starts in the bottom of Death Valley, right below sea level, and they run up to the gateway beginning of the trail of Mammoth Mountain. Mammoth?
No, Mount Whitney.
Mount Whitney, I'm sorry. Mount Whitney. And it's 135 miles. They start running at night because it's still at nighttime. It's like in the 90s. It's so hot there in Death Valley. And during the daytime, the temperatures are up over 100. And it is...
it's bad when you start in a place called Furnace Creek.
Yes. This is the most brutal ultra out there. I was looking at some of the details last night and watching videos and looking at posts from my friends that are out there. And my wife says to me, "Is that something you want to do?" And I start shaking my head. I'm like, no.
Okay, but because I remember you when you the first ultra that you did.
Yeah.
You've met these guys who do this ultra. You got all fired up, and and something that I never in a million years thought you would do.
Yeah.
The 3 back-to-back marathons, and you did it.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of this nervous. Oh my gosh, am I going to have to crew for you out when it's 120 degrees outside?
Right. No, I've got my ultra fix. I may try some different types of ultras down the road, but to be honest with you, it's so brutal and so hard on the body, right? And I did those 3 back-to-back marathons, and I know that I pushed myself sort of beyond what's a really healthy limit, and I've got some health issues. I've got some kidney issues, and I don't want to put myself in jeopardy. I don't want to have kidney failure because I wanted to go run some crazy race.
And that is a real risk for people out there, even who don't have kidney disease.
No, your body starts to shut down. I mean, you're putting your body under tremendous strain, and these people are all very smart about how they do it, and they've all trained for it. But even having said that, they don't all finish, right? I mean, because this race is just so brutal.
Now, I mean, I was reading the blog yesterday, and there was, a woman who had stopped after 41 miles, and she had trained, she'd run it before, and her body hit a point where it was just not.
Yeah.
It was just not going to take it anymore. And I thought 41 miles through the hottest parts of California, is more than almost everyone would be willing to do.
Yep.
And she didn't even make it halfway.
And the elevation gain that these people are going through. So it's I mean, imagine running uphill in the heat, right? It's about as brutal as you can get. And a couple of my friends that are there, they're not actually runners of the race. They're called pacers. And so most of the contestants get friends to run with them, because after a certain point, your body's running, but you're not really cognitively functioning like you should be. So you need someone running with you to keep you going in the right direction, to constantly check on you to make sure you're hydrating. They're thinking for you, and they're also pushing you to keep going, because your body is, starts doing what it does. It starts to shut down a little bit.
So the fastest times are all about 24 hours, aren't they?
Yep.
24 to like 30 hours are the fastest times running this race. And you think about what they're running through, and so you're running. In my hat, I'm like uphill in the snow both ways. It's not. It's essentially that bad. You're running through the desert uphill the entire way on this 14,000-foot climb or whatever.
Yes, it is.
To get up to this Mount Whitney kind of the portal, which is if you're going to summit Whitney, that's where you start.
Yes.
And yeah, it's crazy.
It is crazy, and but the people who do it are absolutely amazing. And so I've been watching Ed Eddinghaus. He has the running name of the Jester, and he wears a Jester cap when he runs. And this is his 8th Badwater 135. And one of the people on his crew lives over in Corona and is a girl that I ran with when I did my ultra out in the desert, my back-to-back marathons. And another woman that I ran with for that race, Jessica Hardy, is out there crewing for a different runner. And so I'm watching their posts and seeing what, and this is brutal. But I'm fascinated. I have to follow it. I can't look away.
Yeah. Well, I'm in awe of these people. I really am. I mean, you have to be a little crazy, but just the people they have pushed to where you never thought the human body could go. When they when people started running marathons, that 26.2 miles was chosen because they thought that was the farthest the human body could go.
Well, the story is that the guy ran that distance and then fell down dead, right?
Yes.
This is how far you can run before you die.
Right. Although, one of the things that we thought was interesting last summer where we were in Payson, Arizona? We actually drove up to Fort Apache, and which is a museum, and it's on the Apache lands, the White Mountain Apache lands, and we learned about Geronimo. Geronimo used to run from Arizona, New Mexico, all the way down to Mexico, just like he would just run. All the way through the state.
30 to 40 miles a day through the mountains at speeds faster than I can run a marathon on flat ground.
Yes.
And he was doing it into his 60s.
Yes.
At speed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. He was like, he's the archetype of somebody who's just completely badass.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A fascinating life, Geronimo. But, and the way that he was held in captivity at the end of his life after he was promised that he wouldn't be is just disgraceful.
Yeah. Never was able to return to his tribal lands.
Never. He died in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Which is, well, that's a whole different subject that we can talk about later, Mr. History Teacher.
Yes. Anyway, so I had to share that just because it's on my mind, because it's an amazing race and your average person doesn't follow it. It's not going to show up on your ESPN sports channel.
No. But it's, man, these are the elite athletes.
Yes.
So talk about what you did on Saturday or Sunday early in the morning.
What did you do on Sunday early in the morning?
Sunday early in the morning.
So Aaron and I are in a Rotary club, and our club or Rotary's motto is service before self. And one of our Rotary Club members,
service above self.
Service above self. Excuse me. One of our Rotary Club members, Jesus Medina, has started about 4 months ago going out on Sunday mornings and doing these community cleanups. And there's a community member who owns a big dump truck, and he shows up with the truck. And for a long time, it was sort of Jesus and just a couple other people. And then it's really begun in the last several weeks to pick up some real intensity and public interest. So the last 2 weekends on Sundays, we've had 20, 25 people show up. And this weekend, we did an alleyway off of Evans Street, which is between G and F Street in San Bernardino, and just above Baseline. And the stuff that was in this alleyway, it's amazing to me how people can be so
disgusting.
Disgusting, yeah. But just the junk that gets dumped out there, right? And we ended up doing 2 locations in that alleyway on different parts of the alley, and one of them, the pile of junk was massive, and it had roaches and mice crawling all through it, and we're there with shovels and rakes and gloves, of course, and we're just working, and a second guy showed up with a second truck, so we were able to load a lot more stuff than we had the previous week.
It sounds to me like you should have had a skip loader.
Yeah, right. We should have. That would have made it go so much quicker. And then another business, Pepe's Towing, paid for our breakfast for all the volunteers that had shown up. After we were done, they called and said, "Hey, we want to feed you guys. We see what you're doing out there." And so we ended up going to Alenberto's on E Street, right next, just north of the Orange Show, and they paid for our breakfast.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing, and we're going to be doing this every Sunday. And you can go to our Sunset Rotary Facebook page.
San Bernardino Sunset Rotary.
San Bernardino Sunset Rotary, and we can get you the information if you're interested in coming out and helping to keep the community clean.
Now, the San Bernardino Sunset Rotary is not the lead group.
No.
Isn't there We Are Change volunteers?
Okay, so that's a group that was started by one of our Rotary members who wanted to create a special Facebook group so that people who were just interested in this could get that information. So it's We Are the Change.
Yes.
Facebook group.
And I don't want to. I'm cognizant that this didn't start out a Rotary project. This is groups of volunteers from several different.
Oh yeah. Everyone's welcome. You don't have to be Rotary.
Everyone's welcome, and it's we're just people who who love San Bernardino, who don't mind getting up early on a Sunday morning to clean up. Now, my intent was to have gone this Sunday morning, but apparently I was so Tobin couldn't rouse me.
I couldn't wake her. She was out.
I was out, so he went without me.
So one of the things that happened too this weekend, which was nice, is that on the previous Wednesday, several of the people that are organizing this went to the city council and told them what we're doing and where we were going to be and invited them to come. And one of the council people showed up. Fred Charette, San Bernardino councilman, showed up in the morning. Now, Fred recently had knee surgery, and he can't do the work, but he showed up with donuts and water and said, hey, you know, I want to support your efforts. And there's also some discussion about trying to get the city's trash hauler, which is Burtec, to also commit to providing some resources, perhaps on a Saturday, because I know Sundays is a rough day for a lot of people to come out and volunteer. So we might end up having some Saturday cleanups as well, where Burtec would provide the dump trucks and the whatever to come pick up the stuff. And who knows, maybe they even have a skip loader. That would make things
that
go
would
real
just
quick.
make things. And I say this simply because, you know, you're sticking your hands in piles. I know you're gloved, but piles of debris that, you know, maybe
So-
there's a sharp nail or something.
You want to take a wild guess about how many tires, abandoned car tires, we found in those alleys?
Oh, I have no idea.
It was over 20.
Oh my gosh.
Over 20 tires that were in the two little alley areas that we cleaned. And further down the alley, there's probably another half dozen tires, but we didn't get that far down the alley.
Wow.
Right? So we're going back. We'll be back out there next week. And you can go to We Are the Change, San Bernardino, or you can go to the San Bernardino Sunset Rotary Facebook group and get the information for the locations. We go out early, so it's like 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning. Right?
Yeah, because it's hot. So you want to get out there before it gets
too
too
hot. Get out there,
hot.
get it done, and then you got your day in front of you.
So anybody who wants to do that, check out those two, and we'll be talking about it again. We'll post the links on our KCAA Morning Show Facebook page, and it's certainly worth your time. And even if you don't live in San Bernardino, you could be doing the same thing in your city. We're at the end of our show for today. I'm Erin Brinker,
and I'm Tobin Brinker,
and we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. Have a great day, everyone.
You got me running, baby. You give me something way beyond revenue. You put the magic in me. I feel the magic when we do what we do.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
I'm Chuck Kamlick, CNBC. President Trump sent a message to Iran overnight, don't threaten us or else. Wall Street got that message. Stocks are down as a result. Shocker at Chrysler. The CEO is gone because his health is deteriorating after shoulder surgery. Sergio Marchionne will be replaced by his right-hand man, Mike Manley. A shocker from Tesla, too. CEO Elon Musk reportedly asking his suppliers for